Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Elevated Beauty Podcast. I'm your host, Emily Fouts, and it has been a minute. I've taken a hiatus for like the past 5 months. I haven't uploaded, and so we're going to talk about why. And it's not a big deal, honestly. The reason why I haven't, it's honestly just kind of because I didn't want to. I was focusing on other things. And yeah, but I'm back. There's a few things I want to talk about. If you guys are still here, thank you so much. If you're a new listener, thank you so much for listening now. But yeah, today we're going to get into what's been going on recently. And the main topic that I want to cover in today's episode is about entering new seasons of your career or your life. That's something that I'm currently kind of experiencing a little bit right now. So, without further ado, I haven't uploaded since May, and normally I would record on Mondays. And I stopped recording on Mondays because I filled that time with something else. So, I am a person that, and this kind of relates to the topic we'll be talking about today. I'm a person that likes to try many different shoes on. I like to go into new ventures and explore new passions and creative ideas. And I decided that I'm going to write a novel. And I am on chapter 18 right now. I never thought that I would be writing anything really. I've always loved literature. I've been pretty good at it in school. I just love storytelling, like the art of storytelling and just creating something from your mind. And I got back into reading recently, and honestly, that's what sparked it. I read a book from an author named Grady Hendrix, and he wrote this book called A Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and it's still one of my favorite books that I've ever read. I need to read more books by him, but yeah, I love vampire fiction. And so ever since I read that, I couldn't get this story out of my head. And so I just started writing. Well, before that, I studied or did some research into like what that would require of me. I learned a lot of new skills. Yeah, and so it's been fun. And that's why I have not been recording on Mondays. And in another episode, I'll probably talk to you guys more about that journey of mine. But that is something new in my life. It's a new chapter that's opening, and it's still very exciting. There are some other chapters that I'm kind of waiting for them to open to. I'm anticipating, new change in the next year. And I'm not going to get too ahead of myself and tell you guys, but you probably already know, if you're familiar with me, that my husband is an active duty Army soldier. And with that being said, active duty families do move about every 3 years to a new duty station. So that's usually a cross country move or something like that. So change in my life is inevitable, at least right now. So yeah, I'm just in this weird transitional anticipation phase. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about change. We're going to be talking about doors closing, and sometimes that can be scary for people. I'm very familiar with change because of my lifestyle. I'm familiar with adapting, and that can be really hard for a lot of people. So I'm going to let you guys know how I faced that and how I have faced it with some other things in my career and in my creative ventures, I guess, because again, if you are familiar with me, you know that I've had an apparel line for a year now. It's called Cryptic Skin Apparel, and it's just an extension of my brand, Elevated Beauty. And it was something really fun that I wanted to do, something different in the aesthetic apparel industry was designs that are alternative, that are revolved around people with interest in like the supernatural and things like that. So, some really cool designs that I made and that I had in my head, and I wanted to bring them to life. And a lot of other people did enjoy them too. And I don't want to say unfortunately because it's not unfortunate. That venture is coming to a close for now, at least. And when the door is not completely closed, when it does open again, I don't know if the apparel is going to be its own different thing or if I'm just going to incorporate it with Elevated Beauty and only do designs that are on brand with Elevated Beauty, or if I'll keep it totally separate and just do fun things that I want to do. But right now is not a good time for that. And so I am closing that door. And I want to talk to you guys about why I'm not upset about it, why I'm not viewing it as a failure, and how, change is okay. It's okay to end things. It's okay for some things to come to an end. If you're someone like me who has a lot of ideas and you're just not going to stop thinking about it until you try it, maybe you realize, okay, that was fun, but that is not the path that I'm meant to flourish in. That's like not where I'm meant to put my full energy right now. That's okay. It's okay to allow yourself exploration and creativity and realize, hey, maybe this is not a long-term thing. It's okay. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It just means that you have the courage to try this thing out and you explored that path. And now that it's coming to an end and that door is closing or it's maybe halfway shut right now, that's fine. We don't have to be an expert, wild success in every venture that we take. And I've taken a lot of ventures and I don't regret any of them. Have they all turned out wildly successful? No, of course not. And because they haven't, that doesn't make me regret that choice. I'm actually happy that I tried it. Some of those things that I did try out, I actually have very fond memories of. I learned a lesson, or I am reinventing it, bringing it into an area of my life in a different way. So, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, if the Cryptic Skin Apparel line was more successful than my experience has been just in the past year, and if I was really, really dedicated, I would give it more time than a year and I would post more on that page. I would be more active, but it didn't take off with the energy that I was willing to put in it. So, for the reason that I don't want to put more energy into it, and the return with energy that I am giving it is not at the level that I need it to be, I am removing my energy in that venture right now. And like I said, it's okay because I have accepted like where my focus and my energy is going to be put. And I know that it's not there. It was so fun. And again, I'm not like completely abandoning that creative venture. My energy is just not going to be focused there right now. And yeah, I mean, you guys can probably relate. There are a lot of, as a business owner, or as a creative individual, you try different things out. Even if you're an artist in some form of, say, you like to paint with acrylics and you're pretty good at it, and you want to pick up pottery, and you invest this money into pottery wheel, clay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it just doesn't pan out. You're not as good at it as you are with acrylics, or for whatever reason, your heart is not there. And depending on how you view things, you can say, well, crap, I spent all this time and this money on this and it didn't even turn out how I envisioned it in my head. But you tried it out You gave yourself that opportunity, and so it's not a total waste. You gave yourself the opportunity to experience it, and I think that's valuable. So, we can talk a little bit about adapting to that change when things don't go the way that you maybe had envisioned, or life throws you a wrench and you just have to adapt to change. You can face it with negativity, you can complain about it, you can obsess about it, or you can simply work on finding a solution and adapting to that change, which will bring you more peace in the end, because worrying, complaining, obsessing, surrounding yourself with this negativity over having to adapt to this obstacle or change, it never does anything for you. So, what I've learned is that we're not always in control. And that's just a reality, that we're not in control. What is the determining factor? It is what do we do with the cards that were dealt. So in an ideal world, I would establish my business here where I am right now in Southern Arizona, and I would allow it to grow over time, and I would build on what I've already established here. But that is not my reality. My reality is this time next year, I will be moving across the country somewhere, and I'm going to have to start all over from ground zero. Is that ideal? No, it's not, because I have built something really amazing and loyal here in the town that I'm in, and I'm going to have to scrap it all because those are the cards that I'm dealt. And I can be pissy about it and I can be upset about it, or I can say, wow, I learned so much in the 2 years, 3 years that I've been here, and I'm going to carry that experience with me, and I'm going to create something next level. And that's what I'm choosing to do. I'm choosing to be very optimistic and re-implement the tools that I implemented opening up this business here in Arizona, and make it amazing again, make it 2.0, and make it even bigger. So yeah, there's no downside to this. I'm only going up. And having that positive and adaptive outlook has really, really changed my life. Changing your perspective and your outlook can really allow you to get to that mindset of abundance, no matter what it is that you're facing. I hope that this episode made a little bit of sense to you guys, and maybe helped you out if you are in a transitional phase, or if you tried something out and it didn't pan out the way you wanted. You can face it with a new perspective now, and understanding that, hey, I gave it a shot, I learned something from it, and I can implement the tools that I learned, or I can value the experience that I had in this. So outlook is really everything. And as always, I'll see you guys again. I say as always, usually, but I'm not really uploading on a weekly basis anymore. So I'm going to change it now. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for listening.